Let's begin.
Scary story fanatics, welcome back to Cleaving Thought from Bone with your host, Sociopathic. Ready to get back on the road with Shyloh and discover some hidden truths? Well, be prepared to bite off more than you can chew. It's time for the Chronicles of Shyloh, Part 2, The Failure.
Shyloh sped down the road. After investigating a crime scene earlier that day, she knew a group of vampires were involved, and they were vicious, having no quarter for a child, killing one and taking the other, a 6-year-old girl. Based on the clues that Shyloh had found, an old family crest that had been shaken loose by the perpetrators, pointing her into the direction of a desolate and seemingly abandoned farmhouse, miles into the countryside. Even if she had told the police about what she knew and where to find the girl, they would have thought her insane, or possibly a criminal herself. She'd learned as much in the past, and knew to keep quiet about such things. As Shyloh pondered her next move, her phone rang, and although she didn't recognize the phone number, she did recognize the area code, and it made the hair on her arms and neck stand on end. Whoever was calling her had a Susquehanna County area code, the location of Locust Lake.
Hello?
Shyloh answered after placing the phone to her ear.
Hello? Is this Shyloh?
A gruff voice spoke into the other end. Shyloh vaguely recognized it, but that wasn't possible.
What? Who?
She tried to speak, but found herself at a loss for words.
My name is Eugene Huckleberry Bruce, but my friends call me Huck.
The man explained.
What?
Yes, ma'am, I am. I'm Ray Bob Bruce's brother. I was cleaning out his house and I found your number written down on a scrap piece of paper in an old sock drawer. I'm sorry to bother you like this, but I've heard so much about you.
Huck finally spat out his intentions.
I'm so sorry for your loss, Huckleberry.
Shyloh reassured him as she pulled into the driveway of her destination.
Please, call me Huck, and that's okay. You have nothing to be sorry for. Ray Bob loved you like kin, which to me makes you kin as well. I wanted to ask you, is there any way that we could meet up and talk sometime? See, my brother was into some really weird things, and, well, there's some stuff happening around here, and I gotta know once and for all if my brother was crazy or not.
Listen, I'm all the way in Southwest right now, and nowhere near Susquehanna County. I'll let you know when we can meet up once I get a chance. I have something to take care of first, but I promise I will call you.
Why, thank you, ma'am. Seems my older brother was certainly right about you and your character. I look forward to hearing from you soon.
Please, just call me Shyloh.
Okay, Shyloh. I'll talk to you soon.
And with that, Shyloh hung up the phone and silenced it. She knew that once she had entered the house, that stealth would be her key to survival. It was nearly dark outside, and she couldn't risk a random phone call, endangering her mortality by giving away her presence. The place stunk of musty old fabric and dust, like it hadn't been lived in an age. And Shyloh knew that that was mostly correct. Nothing lived here, so to speak. but something certainly resided here. Not only could she almost sense it, but the caches of old cell phones, sneakers, wallets, etc., strewn about what was once a living room, indicated that she was right. From the looks of things, there was a nest of at least 8 vamps here, maybe even more, and Shyloh knew that one little girl certainly wouldn't last too long, not around a pack of ravenous monsters. Shyloh knew that they had to be close, and the monsters were bound to wake up at any moment, so as badly as she wanted to call out to the little girl that she hoped would be in the house, she knew that she couldn't. Shyloh crept about most of the house's first and second floors, resigning herself to searching the attic last, and instead opted to search the cellar first. She opened the door as carefully as she could, but it still creaked and groaned in opposition, alerting anyone or anything alert nearby of exactly where she was. Shyloh bit her lip, and she pulled it open just a little more, just enough to squeeze her body through, knowing she'd have to sacrifice a bit of stealth in order to check out the sublevel. Shyloh breathed a sigh of relief as the stairs themselves, old and wooden, made no sounds at all as she descended into the depths of the basement, minimizing her continued announcement of her approach. However, someone must have heard her when she first opened that creaky cellar door, because the child chained to the floor by her ankle and a post lit up upon seeing Shyloh reach the landing and turn the corner and into view. "Please, please don't hurt me," the little girl pleaded, mistaking Shyloh for one of the beasts.
"No, honey, I'm not with them. I'm here to get you out of here."
Shyloh reassured her. "Did my mommy tell you to come find me?" the girl asked. Shyloh hesitated. She knew that this little girl must have known nothing about the fate of her sister. Shyloh didn't have a family. Hers was taken from her as a child as well, and it impacted every part of her life since. Shyloh didn't have the heart to tell the girl the truth, but was happy that at least her parents were alive.
"Yes, honey. She told me I needed to find and keep you safe,"
Shyloh explained, as she dug around inside the padlock that bound the chain to the girl's ankle. The girl said nothing in response, only doing her best now to remain silent, trying to contain her absolute enthusiasm regarding being rescued. And a moment later, Shyloh had popped the lock and unfastened the chain, picking up the girl and turning her head back towards the stairs. But it was too late. As Shyloh turned, she heard someone speak from the darkness behind her.
"And just where do you think you're going with our little snack?"
Shyloh turned around to see who it was that spoke to her from the shadows, but before she did, she saw the silhouette of another figure coming down the stairs in front of her, stopping once reaching the bottom and turning to look at her. The figure was tall, most likely male, and assumedly part of the same pack Shyloh had hoped to avoid for the time being, just long enough to get the girl to safety.
"There's no escape, whoever you are. Now, how many more of you are there? How did you find us?"
The thing hissed at her, questioning her, and Shyloh knew the reason that the thing remained concealed in the shadows sounded so confident. She was surrounded.
"Honestly, I'd love to tell you that an entire army of people like me are outside, because I think it would put more fear into you than me telling you that I'm alone. But I can promise you this, if you knew who I was, it wouldn't matter. You'd pissed yourself with fear, or whatever it is you undead parasites do,"
Shyloh said, unmoving and resolute, setting the girl down at her feet beside her, hoping to coax the monster out of the shadows. And it worked. When the thing stepped out from the dark corner of the cellar, Shyloh finally got a good look at him. It was a man, also very tall, young-looking, but his eyes seemed wise with age. His hair was long and dark, concealing most of his face, but not enough to hide the two pointed teeth that jutted out beneath his upper lip.
Alone, you say? How intriguing. Are you the kind that hunts mine to extinction? Foolish girl, I don't know who you are, and no, I'm not afraid of you. In fact, I delight in your whimsical folly, for your foolishness is our gain.
The thing smiled, and as he did, 3 more figures emerged from the darkness on both sides of her, with the main menace in front of her, and another unknown at the stairs. Shyloh was now up against 5 vampires, all by herself. However, Shyloh was prepared. It was something that she prided herself on. With one quick stomp of her boot, a small silver blade shot out of the heel, and in that same moment, Shyloh pulled the crossbow from her back and revealed the arrows in the quiver at her side. By the time the first monster had reached her, she had knocked one of the holy water-soaked arrows and readied her other hand, wielding the silver knife, stabbed into a bone handle. The first vampire grabbed her from behind, to which she kicked her heel backwards, catching the vamp, the tall one that had descended the stairs, in the groin with the silver boot blade. Shyloh turned instantaneously and effortlessly fired a bolt at the next that was approaching her from her left, killing it instantly as it burst violently into flames. By now, the third was to her right, so she swung around after firing the bolt, sticking the bone-handled blade into its neck while the vamp that she had just slain burned to ashes behind her. However, before Shyloh could make another move, as she was killing these 3 monsters, the tall one that she had been conversing with swept in close while she was preoccupied and swiped the little girl from her side. With the dying flames and glowing embers that now surrounded her, Shyloh only focused on one thing. The monster headed for the stairs with an unnatural speed. Without hesitation, she killed the 4th vampire and followed the 5th. She had chased the thing up the stairs and down the hall, towards the front door. Shyloh saw an old pickup truck beyond the now open aperture, with what looked to be an all-American family awaiting the arrival of their father. Mother and grandmother in the front seat, twin children in the bed of the pickup, all yelling for the one that approached, the undead creature that clutched a 6-year-old girl in its arms.
Stop, or you're dust.
Shyloh yelled, getting the vampire's attention. The thing did as she asked, stopping and slowly turning around. The girl still held tight in his hands, one of them covering her mouth. The thing smiled and simply spoke in a calm voice that indicated no fear.
Drop the crossbow, or I kill the girl.
Shyloh was a good shot, but she didn't trust herself to not hit the girl at this distance. Feeling she had no choice, she first lowered the weapon, then tossed it to the ground in frustration, standing just outside the front door of the old farmhouse.
Now, kick it over here,
the thing hissed.
First, let the girl go.
Shyloh demanded, but the thing replied by tightening his other large hand over the girl's throat and squeezing.
Okay, fine, just let her go,
Shyloh said, kicking the weapon over to the head vampire. But when she did, the thing smiled even wider before lifting the girl's neck to its mouth, lined with jagged fangs.
No!
Shyloh took a single step to try and intervene, but the thing bit down anyway, and in one fluid motion, jerked his head back violently, tearing a very large chunk of her little neck back with it, bathing him in her blood. The monster dropped the girl to the ground, leaving her choking and attempting to scream out, while it turned and ran for the running pickup. Shyloh rushed to the girl's side and tried to stop the bleeding with a piece of her shirt, desperately trying to save her life as the truck drove off into the night. It wasn't until after the taillights had disappeared into the darkness that the small girl finally slipped away, tightly held in Shyloh's arms, dappled with Shyloh's tears as she wept for the loss of this child. She'd managed to take out a few of them, but at the cost of this girl's life. Shyloh would place an anonymous call to the police, letting them know where they could find the girl's body before slipping off into the night herself. She knew deep down that it wasn't her fault, that it was the monsters to blame, and she was just doing all that she could to hold the darkness back. But still, Shyloh couldn't help but feel responsible. So many lives had been lost under her watch. But if she didn't act fast, more would die due to her inaction. She couldn't stand by and just let that happen. She would spend the next few hours packing up her entire arsenal and the small amount of personal belongings that she had, preparing to relocate to a different town under a different name. But the thoughts of every failure haunted her every moment, only ever replaced by one other: the locating of a vampire family that had slipped her grasp and gotten away, and getting revenge for that little girl and her grieving family. She didn't know how yet, but she would find them, and she would make each one of them pay for all they had done.
Well, that just goes to show you, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again, no matter how many children you go through. But I hope you come through for me and come back again next weekend. And until then, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications so I can catch you all again next Saturday.
Social media can be very unpredictable, especially regarding horror content. If this content gets removed, all new content will be simultaneously presented on various websites provided in the description to this video. Make sure to follow me in other digital spaces so that you never miss out on the terror. Also, if you like this video, make sure to leave a comment and hit the like button. It helps the channel a lot. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy what's here, consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you never miss an upload. Writing is a dream of mine, and it's all of you that make that dream come true.